to Eliza Blue. Hey fam, welcome to MIKEroaggress'd Monday. I'm so excited. I've been wanting to have you on for so long. Like, I was on your channel recently and you're just so awesome. Everybody welcome former leftist YouTube queen with the play button behind you, Freely Ashley.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I've been really excited about it too. Your theme song reminds me of like Sum 41, and I just love it so much.
Thank you. That's like all I want to be in life. How you doing, my love?
I am doing well. How are you doing?
Oh, good. Just getting more sick of New York every day.
I bet. I can't imagine. I live in like rural paradise in comparison.
Oh, I'm so jealous. Yeah, I'm just sick of it's always cold here except for like the couple months where it's miserable. I'm so over it. But
it's been like 50 degrees here. It's been strange. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm like, I like the nice weather. Give it to me.
Hi to all of our friends in the chat. Hey, Jeremy, Pina, Marosiala, Sarah. Hey, everybody. We have super chats, so send in your super chats. Ask us all of your burning questions. By the way, I should mention, if you guys like my stuff, consider supporting me. I have all the stuff below, locals, Patreon, etc. It's my goal to be like a better grifter this year. I'm not a good grifter. I
should just embrace the grift. Like, I hate the term because everybody uses it just for people they don't like, but I'm like about to just hop on the bandwagon there.
I'm like, there's so many synonyms for the word grifter. Can't we just like introduce some variety? Thief, something, scammer, something.
Well, it's just like everything, it just gets so played out. And I'm just like, guys, just come up with a new insult already. Like, just move along.
There's something that creeps me out in general about every person all using the same word that they've never used before in their life. You know, I feel like it's just kind of an indication of like, oh, this was put in your head.
Seriously. No, and that's what it seems like. It's like I never heard that word until I feel like a few months ago. Like legit. And then it just like exploded and everybody's just calling everyone that. And I'm like, okay, well, that's where we're at. All right.
Well, and every single person, their thesis is always like, everybody is a grifter except me.
Yeah. Yeah. Or except the people that I like and that I enjoy. Those people are legit, but the other ones, no.
Hey to our beautiful Kieran White. Welcome. John Burrito. Oh, thanks, Jeremy. I need a new roommate. Want to move to the part of Ohio that isn't Chernobyl? Oh, I don't know if you're going to do that well with Ohio tourism at the moment.
Yeah, that's rough.
Come to Florida and we'll be roommates. So Ashley, for people who this is their first time seeing you, tell us, who are you? Even though everybody knows you're the one with the play button.
I feel like it's so weird. That's such a weird thing, in my opinion. Like, I can't believe that I have that. But no, it's
an awesome thing.
It's very surreal. I never expected it. No, but yeah, I'm a former leftist. I dissented from the left in 2019, and I started talking about my political shift like publicly in April of 2022. So I started over on TikTok. I just needed a place to kind of air out what I thought about things and finally stop like hiding in the shadows. It's what I felt like. Like I couldn't just be honest about what I thought with anyone except my husband. And then he got boring to talk to after a while. Like, you know, it's like we could only say the same type of things and have the same type of conversations, you know, so many times. So I was like, I just want to finally air it out and kind of come out of the closet, so to speak, I guess. But and then my account just blew up and it was really weird. And I was like, whoa, like what's happening? And then I started my YouTube in August and been trying to learn all of that and figure it all out. But yeah.
Learn, you need to teach. I'm like, teach me how to be good at YouTube.
Dude, I don't know. Like, I don't understand it because I mean, I'm not good at editing. I don't have like super high quality stuff. I just like set up a camera and talk to it. Apparently it resonates very well with people, which is really cool. It's really, really awesome. I feel very lucky that I've been kind of given this opportunity to just share what I think about stuff, and people seem to really enjoy it.
That's interesting though. So you kind of left the left right in time for everything to fall apart. Like you picked a hell of a time.
Yeah, it was really weird because now when I look back and like especially just like 2020 and all of that, I'm like, whoa, like that's the very strange coincidence, I guess. But it was like in 2020 when I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm conservative. Like all my views have changed in such a way, and that's somewhere in that year, amongst all of the craziness, I was like, no, I'm not voting Biden. So.
So what was sort of like the early things? Was it a process or was it one thing?
Yeah, it was just a slow shift, basically. Like I felt like, once, like I always akin it to like bubbles bursting. It's like all these thought bubbles, and it's like once one kind of pops, then I had to start analyzing all of my other views, and I kind of just went topic by topic or claim by claim, even like, I would hear, because I watched a lot of content from other perspectives for once. Like I forced myself to do it. Actually, I hated some of the people I was watching. Like, and it's so funny now because I watch them
Well, I know who they
regularly.
were.
Oh, I mean, like Blair White was a big one. Like I could not stand her, and now I love her. Like I think I've watched every single one of her videos. And like Steven Crowder and like Ben Shapiro, I would watch him and like yell at the screen. Like it was. So
I think he's
silly.
like sort of the universal like starting point. He's like the baseline. Yeah. He's the entryway.
Well, it was like I think Dave Rubin and like Tim Pool were two of the ones that were a lot more palatable to me. It was like I could watch them and be like, okay, I can see where you're coming from. And I would watch like Ben Shapiro and just be like, ugh. Like, and it just took so much time to just kind of, I don't know, like expose myself to other perspectives. Oh God. And then I was like, okay, you're making good points. I can see where your argument is. Like, let me look into this. And it would just, kind of just kept evolving from there. But it took me a really long time to even admit that I could be wrong in a lot of areas. Like, I think it was like probably like a full year, because I've been like revisiting like my Facebook too. And like, okay, when was I posting certain
That's
things?
The worst.
And well,
seeing your old cringy posts when you were a liberal.
Yeah. And unfortunately I deleted like a lot of them, but I have the night that Trump got elected in 2016. I have like my meltdown post, which is real dramatic and real cringe. I'm gonna put it in a video at some point.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you have to do that.
Yeah, it was rough. Like that night was just rough. When I look back now, I'm like, that's like, it was so embarrassing for me for so long because I had like a meltdown, like an epic, hysterical crying meltdown when the results came in 2016. But now I think it's hilarious. I'm like, I was so far just brain warped that I thought the world was ending because Trump got elected. Like, how ridiculous.
Yeah, I've had to, for my own sanity, I had to private a couple old Facebook posts that were just too cringy for me even. Like, there was one about how, like, Republicans invented slavery and...
Oh, that's fun. And very wrong.
I know. That's horrible. God, though, yeah, like I said, you picked a hell of a time. It's like you switch sides just in time for the right to fall apart, basically.
Pretty much. Like, that's, it was so crazy, too. Like, because like 2019 is actually, it was the year that I got married, and then I got pregnant, and then I had my kids in 2020. So it was like a whole lot of other stuff going on too. So sometimes I'm like, when did this happen? Like, when did that happen?
Do you think having kids informed that at all?
I had already, like, before I got married, I had already been like, okay, like I'm not on the left even anymore. I think I had kind of acknowledged that I wasn't like as far left or a leftist or whatever. But I was like, I just can't be even associated with this anymore. Like, I just can't, there's no view that I actually agree on. And then like abortion was a really, really big one for me too. Like changing my mind on that was a really big deal. But then when I got pregnant, it just kind of like solidified everything, I would say.
Thank you so much, Max, for the super chat. Do you still hold any left positions, Ashley?
I don't like most of my views, I would say, are a blend of like between libertarian and conservative. So like I kind of classify myself as like politically more libertarian, but with conservative values and ideals. So it's like I'm a live and let live to a point, and then it's like, no, this isn't good anymore. This isn't productive. It's not good for society. And like, you know, personally, like it's like I'm a big proponent like gay marriage, like, but I don't consider that left leaning. I just consider that like a libertarian viewpoint, you know? So it's just like, which I've like argued with like really religious conservatives about gay marriage, like back and forth. But so, and I'm not religious, so it's like, I can't really identify with that, but like, do you, boo boo, you know, like if people are, but other than that, I don't legalize cannabis, but again, libertarian, like,
yeah. And I think these are all positions that have mostly been adopted. I mean, not by, you know, the horrible politicians that represent us, but I think by most people who vote on that side at this point. See, I don't really even know what would be considered left or right with certain things at this point. Cause like one of the things when I was a liberal that I thought made me so leftist was, you know, like when they had Occupy Wall Street and all that, not that they were, I think they had some accurate premises, but didn't go about it the right way. But one of the big things for me that I still feel to this day, and I think the last couple of years have really shown that, is that we have to do just as much to curb corporate power as government power, especially when corporation and government basically merge together as they have. But at this point, the left is so much the party of every corporate entity in this country, every powerful entity, public and private, that I think that's just sort of like a right-leaning populist view at this point.
Yeah, and it's really interesting too, because like I feel very similarly, and I think so many people have also like left the left and have kind of been like, I don't know where I belong, and kind of found themselves in the right wing of some kind, you know. I think a lot of people just still say like they're centrist or moderate or independent or whatever, but they typically kind of can find alliances like among the right wing, more so than the left wing. But it's like, man, and there's certain things where I'm like, okay, this wouldn't be bad if we could fix it. Like there's certain social safety nets that's mostly for like the elderly, disabled people, like people who legitimately cannot work, cannot support themselves. It's like, let's have a conversation about that. I'm kind of more along those lines. But again, like I know people personally who lie about being disabled and are able to get disability. And there's no reason why they should actually be on it. They just, you know, have kind of conned the system. It's like, and I just always have that kind of stuff in the back of my mind. It's like, yeah, but man, like there just needs to be more, I don't know, gatekeeping probably.
Yes. Thank you. And I think that's funny. You said that because I think that applies to so many of these things that people are talking about now, with like all the Eliza stuff and shit like that, is that there's kind of no gatekeeping. There is gatekeeping in terms of like the conservative Inc. stuff that like of like who they'll allow on to Fox News or stuff like that. But there really is no, I guess vetting would be a better word. There really is no vetting of any, and I think that's because the right is so desperate to hear their beliefs validated in any way, to be given any sort of fair shake, that the moment somebody says something they agree with, they're like, money, attention, platform. And that's how you get, oh my God, I'm brain dead. What's the expression? That's how you get, I don't know, con artists.
Oh yeah, grifters. Yeah. No, yeah. And well, I think, you know, it's frustrating too, is because, you know, as much as people say that conservatives or the right wingers are so intolerant and so hateful, and it's like everybody, accepting. Yeah, like they just like envelop you and like we just want to give you a hug. Like thank you for seeing the light. We don't even care if you're not on board with every like because it's like I don't think everyone should agree even on the right wing and they don't. That's a big thing is like, you know, and we're going through all this infighting right now, but at the same and like I know people think people view it as like, oh, this makes us look weak. And it's like, no, because the left has infighting, but they cover it up and they try to hide it and they just do it behind closed doors. Like that's way worse. It's like if you can see that, okay, like there's disagreements here, but if people are working to resolve those disagreements or at least understand each other in a better way, I think that's much more positive to like see. Obviously with like Crowder and Daily Wire and like the big top dogs, like that's kind of a different issue in and of itself. But I kind of just go back and forth on that whole debacle anyway. I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's certain things that you could say this person did this wrong or whatever, but I just don't really care. I think, you know, I'm sure you've heard people say for the last couple of years, they're like, oh, conservatism is the new counterculture. It's the new punk rock. And I think this is showing that it really is because they're acting right now basically like 90s punk rock fans who it's like their little indie band got signed by a major label and now they hate them for that. I feel that's kind of like a little bit the same mentality that as soon as somebody gets too big or too successful, no one likes them anymore. I don't know. I think that they're different. It's sort of like my friend Peter, who's been on here a lot, always says we kind of need to be like the super friends, where it's like Spider-Man is best at climbing walls. Aquaman is best in the water. And I think it's kind of like that. We all have different skills. We can all speak to different people. So I feel like there's nothing wrong with these people like Ben Shapiro, whoever, who are a little like basic bitch, but it's like, well, they do change minds.
Yeah. And I think it's actually really important. Like, you know, all of these people who have been like arguing and fighting, I've been fans of for a really long time. So it's like, okay, like let me look at this objectively and let me, you know, see like who is handling this in what ways and what's going on. And I don't like a lot of stuff going on in between like either party, you know, like what they did here or what they did there, but I can kind of understand both perspectives to a point. It's like, it's one of those types of things. So I don't know. I feel like I kind of just go with like, you know, until I know more, because I think there's just so much that people don't know about like those really top like influencers, personalities. I don't know what to call them, but like they're just so big at this point. It's like what's going on behind closed doors. There's a whole lot of stuff happening that nobody knows about or nobody's allowed to talk about. And I think that's kind of a big issue. But I do think that like, I don't know, there's a big problem with within both the left and the right for kind of covering up like bad things individuals are doing or have done. And because they don't want anybody to know, it's like, no, like you should be actually calling those people out and ousting them and be like, no, we're not, this isn't okay. Especially for a lot of like the conservative sphere, a lot of that is talking to men and like, you know, promoting family values and promoting strong men. It's like, okay, well, you have to be a strong man. You have to actually live up to your ideals if you're going to preach about it so much.
Yes. Thank you. I love that. Oh, sorry. I was trying to finish chat. I thought this was very accurate. This is no longer about parties. It's about the uniparty fascists and those who pledge blind allegiance to them versus America. 100% this.
Yeah.
And that's why they hated Trump so much initially, I think. I mean, other than, you know, plenty of self-inflicted things as well, but he wasn't part of that. And him not becoming, I was going to say lose it, him not becoming president in 2020 sort of left this power vacuum where now they're all trying to bring us back to being the party of the Bush and Romney, McCain and all that. And to this day, that's one of the few things that I still feel the same way about as I did when I was on the left is I cannot stand any of those people.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like, I mean, I just feel like personally, we don't have any actual representatives left. Like have you noticed, somebody brought this up to me in one of my comment sections, I think. But they said, have you noticed that there's been a shift from the word representative to leader? And that was really profound to me because it's like that it's a shifting of the language, and it puts it in a different perspective.
I hadn't thought of that. That's a good point. By the way, Max, Spider-Man isn't in the Super Friends. You dick.
Spider-Man is a weird one, okay? He just bounces all around, and he jumps teams, and he's on all kinds of different, like, things. He doesn't
Like
make
a
any sense.
bisexual. I've never actually seen any of the Marvel movies. I saw the last Spider-Man one. That was the first Marvel movie I've seen.
Well, see, Spider-Man's a weird one because he, like, jumps back and forth from, like, the DC universe to the Marvel universe. And
You know the DC universe?
Yeah, like, which okay, don't, if anybody's, like, a superhero fan, don't come for me, but, like, I just, like, always forget, and I have to always ask my husband, like, what is happening with him? Like, and I think he was DC, and then Marvel used him for, like, the their movies. But it's like Wolverine too. Like, he's been kind of passed around a little bit. Like, it's very confusing.
It just goes over my head. I feel like I missed getting into it at the time, and now it's the ship has sailed.
It really has.
I want to get to Stacy's super chat. By the way, send us all your super chats. I should mention super chats will be divvied up between two very important foundations: the Mike Moving Out of New York Foundation and the Making More Videos for YouTube Foundation. So contribute below. Send us your super chats. Stacy, at least when Trump wins in 2024 and DeSantis in 2028, you'll get to laugh at the leftist meltdown. Oh, I disagree. How do you feel, Ashley?
See, no, yeah, I don't want Trump in 2024. I want DeSantis. I feel like too much has happened. I feel like there's not enough hype around Trump anymore. There's the really diehard people who are really for him, but I feel like he's made a lot of really dumb errors in the past couple of years, and it's just like, he would have to really go big or go home if he wants. And like so many people are unhappy with the way he shilled the jabs, and he was all about that. And it's like, I understand, because that was like supposed to be his kind of big, like, look what I did, look how quickly I rolled this out, but it's turned into such kind of a nightmare, and I don't think he's really realized that.
I completely agree. That's how I felt for a while now. And then since he's announced, everything that he has done since then has just reaffirmed that for me times 10. In 2020, I got to see a bit on the inside of his campaign. There was no campaign. There was nothing. I think he's very out of touch with his voters. I mean, if you look, he just shilled for Ronna McDaniel, and how's that working out? Like, and then and there's this thing that I can't stand that I'm seeing a lot of people doing. And I'm saying this as somebody who was his biggest freaking supporter in 2020. I traveled the entire country. I spoke in a video at his convention. I did everything humanly possible to get him elected. I think he's completely out of touch with his base. And I think it's becoming more about him. Oh, what I was going to say, though, is it's driving me crazy that I hear all of these people keep saying, basically, that anything he did that was wrong, it wasn't his fault. That he hired all the worst people. Oh, well, that's not his fault. The lockups, that's not his fault. Fauci, that's not his fault. I'm like, well, if he isn't in control of anything that he does, why would I want him again? But the main point for me, obviously, if he's the nominee, I'll do it all over again. I'll, vote for him in a heartbeat. I would take him. I think we would all cut off our left ball or tit or whatever you have to have him as in office right now over Biden. However, the most important thing for me, nobody can answer this question. What is the plan? What is the realistic plan for him to win? Because if people believe that the election was stolen, and I definitely think it was very shady, then what's the plan? How do you, and he has already shown that he cannot do anything to overcome that. He can't assemble a team to overcome that. He can't have a strategy to overcome that. And I think DeSantis could not only put together a good team and could put together a good strategy, but I think he could also get so many votes from people in the middle that it won't matter. Or maybe it won't matter no matter who runs. I don't know. But I think with DeSantis, there's a chance. And I think we don't have, and I think if we're lucky, we will maybe have one more shot to turn this around through voting. Otherwise, I think it's going to be too far gone. It might already be, but I don't see any way that Trump could win.
I don't either, honestly. And I feel like DeSantis would be much more unifying in a sense, which like, and everyone always says, well, he's going to get smeared. Yeah, he'll get smeared, but they're not going to have much for him to stand on. And it's already started. The smear campaign has already started, but I'm seeing like right wingers start to try to like tear him down. And I'm like, y'all are shooting yourself in the foot, because I guarantee if they go with Trump, if he gets the nominee, then we just handed the election over, in my opinion.
100%.
Because there's too many people who just absolutely hate him.
And I mean, just all the people that I know who are like, have historically been Democrats, but are, you know, the types that they're not really red pilled. They argue with me. They hate Trump, but they're open to DeSantis. They're like, oh, he has a nice family. And even, unfortunately, people do care about that. Unfortunately, I wish they didn't, but there's just no chance with him.
Well, it is a much better image too. Like he just presents a much cleaner. Like I saw a picture of like him and his wife like on their wedding day, and I was like, oh my God, they look beautiful. Like they look like the perfect couple.
Thank you, my love. Trump can't go a week without getting sued, getting into legal drama, or having drama with one of his current former employees. It's the employees one that bothers me of that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because I mean, if you keep hiring them, whose fault is that?
Yeah, and I feel like, man, like there's just been no plan. Like you said, there's no plan. There's no actual. It's just, hey, it's Trump, vote for me. Like, no, I need actual answers now. Like, you know, you had a good first run. You shot yourself in the foot in the second time. Yep. And, you know, of course, like there's a lot of really, really questionable things going on. I'm not somebody who just, you know, I don't know. I'm not sold on the whole it was stolen thing. Like I need real proof, real tangible evidence. And if somebody can show that to me, like I would be on board with that. But at the same time, it's just like, well, nothing's obviously going to be done about it at this point. So
yeah, I would love to think that it wasn't. I would love someone to prove that everything was completely legitimate, no corruption. I would love nothing more than that, because then that tells us that we can win elections. You know, I don't really feel that way, but I do think I think the important point though, is I think there was definitely corrupt shit, but I think the majority of it was basically stolen legally, because it was allowed to happen again because of stupid Republicans that did nothing. It had to be fought 6 months earlier when they were changing all the voter laws, and they did nothing. You cannot agree to compete in a game that has rigged rules and then complain about the outcome.
Yeah, well, that's the biggest problem with, and that's why I won't call myself a Republican. I also don't have to register my political affiliation in my state, so I'm in this nice little. It's very nice, because I would be really mad about it, but I just don't call myself a Republican because it's like I don't. There's so few of them that I think actually do a decent job, like, and most of them don't do anything. Most of them aren't like. They're just yelling about the left. It's like, well, do something, offer something better. That's how, you know, that's what we need.
Yeah. And I will tell you, I think, so whenever I talk about this stuff of how horrible of an idea I think it is for Trump to win again, there's a percentage of people who get really pissed off and don't want to hear it and they hate you. But I think I'm shocked how many people agree. I really feel like we're this kind of the silent majority of people who would rather DeSantis. So many people in the chat are saying that. Mm-hmm. I'm going to drain the swamp. Also, I'm going to hire swamp monsters. Yep. Hi, my love, Leah. Yeah. So I just hope. I think the only thing that could stop DeSantis is if he doesn't run, which I'm hoping he runs. And I think I will. I said this on Twitter the other day. I will make a bet that I think if DeSantis runs, I think it's going to play out exactly like the 2008 primary for the Democrats, where Trump will basically be Hillary. COVID, the lockups, the vaccines will be this version of the Iraq war, where they have that baggage. And then and DeSantis is Obama, the younger person with less baggage who comes in and outfoxes them. I think that's exactly what's going to happen if he runs. I hope.
Probably. Honestly, we just need somebody younger. Like I'm sick of old people. Get them. No, like there needs to be an age cap.
I agree. Michael Obama and Oprah Winfrey 2024. Where is the chat? Lady Suda, hey, Mikey, I plan to donate to your move to Florida. So, oh, thank you so much. That's so nice of you. It's crazy expensive. Yeah, for anybody, by the way, who feels like checking out my links below, I have my Moving to Florida fund. So check it out. It's givesendgo.com/escape from New York. And I'm working on my documentary. So it turns out I'm going there at the end of May to go look at places, and I have a speaking event. So I'm excited. I'm filming a whole documentary, How to Escape a Blue State.
Heck yeah, that'll be sweet.
So, because it is miserable living here now.
Yeah, I really.
Yeah, I just hope Republicans need to get out of their own damn way. It's unfathomable how they never underestimate the ability of Republicans to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I don't know. I feel like people are just really like still reeling from so much of the last few years too. And it's like, okay, like you need to like focus and figure out what the plan is and because I feel like for so long, for even longer than I've been like awake, far longer, it's like the left has just been pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And the right is just trying so hard to like pull back that they're not actually, like I said, offering a better alternative or like even advocating for their position in a good way. It's like, it's always just look at what you're doing. It's like, okay, well, like I've grown really tired of even like politicians themselves. Like their entire campaigns aren't what they're going to do. It's just smear campaigns against the other person. Yeah. I'm so tired of it.
Well, and that's what's really pissing me off about a lot of the DeSantis stuff now is that I'm seeing people on the right saying things about, like, you don't have to like him, don't vote for him, have your reasons, great, you do you. But they're saying things that are just not based in reality, let alone any facts. And it's the same sort of smears that I feel like we had to fight against with Trump. And now they're doing it to DeSantis.
Mm-hmm. Earlier, I saw a tweet. I can't remember who it was from, but it was like some journalist. But she was right. She was on the right, and she had like this whole tweet about how Casey DeSantis' name isn't really Casey, it's Jill. Did you see that? It's like, it's her middle name. So many people get called by their middle name. She probably doesn't like her first name, bro. It's not a crazy, they're not fake. She just goes by a different freaking name. Like,
I mean, I think that goes to show how good he's been, how little they have on him.
Mm-hmm. Which is so silly.
Hey, Cody, glad you're here. When are you considering, I guess, going to Florida? So I'm going there to look at places end of May. Realistically, probably like late summer, early fall. I'm hoping sooner.
He's asking where at in Florida.
Oh, I thought it said when. God,
Florida.
I'm thinking St. Pete area. I'm going. I've never really been there though, so I'm going to explore. But I have a lot of friends there. I've heard it's nice. I bet you can't wait to leave New York. I can't because I hate it here. But my boyfriend's here, so now I'm a little like, that makes it a little bit difficult, but figure it out. But yeah, God, so what exactly do you think? I just always ask myself, what is wrong with Republicans? Why are they like this? And it's sort of, for me, it's sort of, because I must be a masochist that I do consider myself a Republican. It's like it's like being on the friggin' Bad News Bears. But so it's tough for me. It's like tough love. I'm like, I just want you people to be good and succeed and do the right thing. And it never happens.
Honestly, like, I don't know, man. And it's frustrating because I get really sick of people who spout a bunch of like virtuous stuff, basically, virtuous BS. And then, like, all these scandals start coming about them. And, it's their whole thing is just smeared. And it's like, okay, like, live up to your own expectations. I think that's actually a big part of the problem is that so many people want to rail so hard against the left. And it's like, Yeah, but you can't act perfect in doing so. Otherwise, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. I do think, like, I really always like Jim Jordan. I think he's a good one. I haven't looked super far into his history though, which I need to kind of go through everybody and do. It's kind of one of my big goals is to like, okay, what have you done and what are you doing and what's going on? And it's just so many people to try to keep up with on top of like the regular news cycle, on top of like learning about things that I want to learn about. So
if DeSantis wins, do you think Rebecca Jones will go full? Why do I know that name? Who is that?
I don't know who that is.
I know that name, but I don't know why. Will she go full on Fatal Attraction? I think there are a lot of people who are going to go Fatal Attraction on him. Tell us who that is, though, Max.
I'm like looking it up on Twitter.
So what do you think? What do you think is going to be the result of all this current infighting?
I don't know. I feel like I mean, Daily Wire is going to do their Daily Wire thing. I've been like trying to keep up on like Crowder and stuff, especially because I'm just really interested and I want to know what he's doing. But he's like touring or something right now. He's doing like comedy shows, so he hasn't really been posting anything. And I'm like, why? Like, tell me what's happening. I feel like there's just going to end up being a lot of kind of competing voices. But I don't think people are going to be so quick to pick a team. I hope not, at least. The actually like the whole Tim Pool and the quartering thing really like bothered me the way people were reacting. Yeah. I'm like, I think both of them messed up in many ways. And I think Tim messed up a big time. But like, I feel like he finally was like, oh, okay, I get it, guys. Like, all right, I wasn't seeing what I was supposed to be seeing here. And this is a lot more than drama. And I think they just came at him so hard, he just got pissed.
You know what's funny? This is unpopular opinion. And, I certainly have plenty of criticisms about Tim Pool. Unpopular opinion, I kind of respected him telling people to fuck off. Not in this instance, because he happened to be wrong, so it wasn't a good time to. But in a weird way, I respected that, because I think when you do what we do, there's always going to be people who are trying to push their thoughts on you. I'm sure you have too. I've had that happen so many times. Like, to go back to what we were just saying, the first debate that Trump was in 2020, I thought was the disaster of all disasters. And I said so. I was like, I think he might have lost the election tonight. It was so, I can't believe how horrible it was. And people were furious. How dare you? You're a Democrat, blah, blah, blah. So I think you really need to be able to stand very firmly on your own and know who you are and what you believe and not allow anyone to pressure you into anything else. So I like that he was like, fuck you, you're not going to tell me. However, he was spectacularly wrong to do it in this instance. Here's the thing. In general, whether it's him, whether it's Crowder, Daily Wire, I feel like it goes back to like the sort of 90s punk rock fans, is that they expect too damn much of talk show. Like, I just don't look for my morals from talk show hosts. I don't expect that much from them. Maybe that's why I don't care so much about all of this drama with the Tim Pool and the Daily Wire and the thing. I didn't care that much about what Tim Pool was doing until a day or two ago, because I don't know if you saw this article series, the Shane Cash. It is unbelievable. I don't understand how that. I mean, did you see the segment? Oh, I forgot to send it from my phone, but this segment, I'm sure. Let me know if anyone knows what I'm talking about. But it's talking about the gang stalker, who he named. Yeah. This guy DeFango, and he's like, he would inject something into someone, very specific, something into someone that would make them disappear for 2 weeks, and they would wake up with pieces of their brain missing.
Yeah, and then he followed. I read that part of it, and then he followed it up with like, but this might be lore of some kind. It's like, bro, you're supposed to be a journalist, and you're.
And he named DeFango. He named the person who's gonna sue his ass off. So that is where I end up caring about the Tim Pool thing, because you're somebody who has talked so much about the propaganda and corruption of the mainstream media, and then you're going to allow this to be published under your name. It says Timcast. He's Tim.
Yeah, and what's frustrating too is like obviously Tim Pool himself is not going through and editing all of his journalist stuff, but at the same time it's like, well, this is your company, this is your integrity on the line. You are the face, you are the voice. So like, and I think it kind of frustrated me a little bit when people are like, oh, Tim Pool, his journalist. It's like, well, the journalist is his own person, and he is obviously not great, or was trying to do something that he spectacularly failed at. Like, you're not Hunter S. Thompson, man. Like, don't try. And that's what he was going for. It was like that gonzo journalism. It's like that stuff is so hard to do. Like, you can't, and I feel like this was just not the story to do it with also. But, it was all just a fluff piece anyway. And then like, yeah, those like wild accusations. And I just feel like, obviously, like, I think in that case, like Tim should be addressing it within his staff, obviously. But yeah, that should have been like really thoroughly gone over, I think.
It's insane.
Again,
parentheses, yeah. 1 second. I just want to hit up the chat. Lady Suit, I've got to go now, Mike. It's 1:40 in the UK. Good night, my love. Thank you for being here. Lauren De Laguna is here. Great show tonight. Thank you. You had a great show the other night. I've been meaning to message you. You got to come on here sometime. Everyone in chat, don't forget to hit the like button. Yes, you guys got to do all the YouTube-y shit. Do the YouTube-y shit. And yes, send us your super chats. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But yeah, I don't know what the result of all this is going to be. But I mean, if somebody put that about me, that I was injecting things into people's brains that makes their brains disappear, I would sue them into oblivion. So I hope he does.
I think in the end, like the reaction from people that I saw and the reactions I've been seeing, the outrage, it's giving me deja vu in the sense of like, this is people on the right are starting to become outraged similarly to what happens on the left, of like any little tiny thing, it's explodes and like, the influencers fan the flames. But then what happens on the right is like, if somebody says something that they don't like, they like, again, they just, you're wrong. And how dare you not address this in the way that we want? And it's like, okay, you guys are doing the mob rule thing in the exact same way. And I'm not a fan of that. Like, do not do that. Respect somebody. If you don't like what they have to say, like, just, okay, well, I just disagree. Like, but it's because it's become so tribalistic between the two sides. I feel like, unless people start reining it in a little bit more, then it's just gonna end up devolving into like, I mean, basically two wings of the same bird or whatever crap everybody always says.
Yeah, I agree. It's getting a little nuts. And you know what? We'll hit super chat first, and then I'll get to that. Lauren, do you think Dr. Kevorkian will be sued for? I sure hope so. Someone needs to sue that.
Don't say her name. She'll
no, it's like Beetlejuice. You say it 3 times. She manifests and yells at you for not complimenting her moo-moo. But I sure hope so, Lauren. Someone needs to do it. I would have, if not for I don't want to be bothered. What was I going to say though? Yeah, I could see that happening a little bit with some of the. I don't entirely disagree with. You saw the whole Satan thing with Sam Smith. Like, I think, I don't know. I feel a little split with that because I don't like to be the art. I'm not, but it's not, it's so horrible. But then I don't know, this is where I go have like a ping pong in my brain because I'm like, well, art is subjective. Who am I? So I in one way don't like, I don't know, like I enjoy dark horror movies and dark stuff, but it's just bad. In my opinion, there's no artistic value. It's very cliche, very, maybe would be edgy for 1987. But then people go a little bit overboard with like the Satan-y shit. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's always my thing. I'm like, guys, like my view of it, I think they're just doing it on purpose to cause the rise amongst the right, like amongst anyone who, oh no, look at they're worshiping Satan and demons and stuff like that. And like there's that whole like conspiracy theory about you know, like the satanic Holly weird type of thing. And it's like it's like with some stuff, I'm like, okay, you guys are kind of right on like, you know, some of the stuff, but I think it's just too much. Like, we got to bring it back down. Cause like, you know, I think Sam Smith is just out for outrage. He just wants clicks. He wants relevance. It's sad. Cause he used to be so attractive and like, so, you know, like
it's the non-binary to satanic pipeline. That's what's happening. He's a great representation, though. I actually love Sam Smith because he is showing everyone how this ideology destroys a person from the inside out. You get the face you deserve. So
seriously, like I can't that photo shoot, dude, where he looks like a damn sausage roll. I'm like, what are you doing? I get self-conscious about like weird selfies, like from weird angles. It's like, bro, you are, oh no.
I swear I'm gonna tape that photo to my wall to be like my workout motivation.
Yeah, I got really motivated the other day. I like posted a tweet about it. I'm like, man, like I'm not taking care of myself. I'm gonna stop doing that and actually put work in.
Oh, same. It's horrible. That's why I'm like, okay, once I'm like in the sunshine, I can like run on the beach or something.
Winter just sucks. Like winter is so hard for me every year. Like it's just always that like about halfway through, I'm just like, ugh, and I feel like crap and I'm not drinking enough water and I'm not exercising. And so it's just one of those things, I think.
Jeremy, thank you, my love, for the super chat. There's an easy solution to all our problems. Everything can be purified in a nuclear fire. That's what's happening to you in Ohio right now. So don't jump into the fire. Like, we love you and want you here. So stay away from the nuclear Ohio fire, even though it's not a nuclear fire, I guess, but whatever.
It could be.
You know what I was going to mention too that is driving me crazy is that this like Eliza Blue stuff. I feel like I watched Candace Owens' video on it last night, and I feel like Eliza is or people like that in general, not even her specifically, sort of give validation to really bad arguments. Because the Candace Owens video, she was right in what she was saying this time. But just thinking about how some of these things could be applied to other people who were actually telling the truth, you know, like you could be a hoe and then be abused or be assaulted. You could be in sexy videos and then be abused or be assaulted. One doesn't negate the other. So I think that's really, you know, I do think, and, you know, I'm part of that because I made my own video, but I do think it's gone a little bit overboard. But on the other hand, I think, you know, I've heard some people make this excuse of, well, she talks about good things or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but I really feel like nowadays we're living in this world where there's the war on reality. There's the war on truth. Words no longer have meanings. Definitions change. So I think it is important to stand up for truth. It's like, does the truth ever count for anything?
Yeah, for sure. And no, I fully agree. It's frustrating, that specific case, because I'm still just waiting. I'm like, girl, can you just prove, like, can you just do everyone a solid and just prove somehow that you're not a complete and total sham of a human being? Like, and there's just no hope. Cause like, I keep, you know, I just have this thought like, man, what if though? What if she's just freaking crazy and doesn't know how to handle this or something? But like, I don't know, like, the amount of people who have done really bad things in their past or lived in a way that they didn't want to keep living in and acknowledge that and then changed and was like evolved and just was like, you know, this isn't a great way to live. And I'm going to tell you why, because I experienced it firsthand. I think those people are really powerful. And, you know, like I went through a lot of stuff, you know, back in the day and stuff. And, you know, it's just one of those things. It's like, you can't lie about something so like human trafficking, bro. Like you can't lie about that. That's no. And then it just does a huge disservice to actual victims and people who have actually suffered so much at the hands of you know, just fucking monsters. Like it just, It's a shitty situation, man.
Yeah, and I think, and I've talked to a lot of other people who are survivors of sexual assault or stuff like that, and they said they're like, that's why I knew she was lying. And I feel the same. Like, you know, I've talked about this before. This was actually sort of the very beginning of my red pill journey, is that I had a home invasion and it was a sexual assault type situation. The idea of saying, I've decided to change my story. Your story doesn't.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
not
that
a story. It's an event. It's something that you live with. It's not a story that's evolving.
Yeah,
It's
that
so
one was
sick. It is so
kind
sick.
of final nail in the coffin there. Like, there's no. I've decided to change my story. I've been trafficked a third time. Like, bro, you're just proving
And
that
you're
you're
all
just
my traffickers now.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's like, that's not how that works, girl. And the type of thing she's talking about, it's like you didn't have like somebody do like revenge, you know, or you know, leak your nudes that you sent somebody fucking 8 years ago. It's like, I'm sorry, like if anything like that were to happen, it's like, to me, I'd just be like, okay, like whatever, like.
Oh my god! You know how many things I texted my friend the other day. He directed this short horror film that I was in years ago, where like I'm half naked in it and I make out with someone. So I texted him the other day. I'm like, I've decided that you trafficked me in that. I had no agency to do it or to love it after the fact. But I'm like, you trafficked me now.
It's like one of those things that's like.
Oh, it's just things you can lie about. Stealing a grape at the grocery store, picking your nose if your friend looks fat. Things you can't lie about. Being trafficked.
Yeah, straight up. Like, don't. That is the craziest thing, in my opinion. It's like, I don't know. There's way. I didn't know who she was until like fairly recently. So I didn't go through and like watch all these interviews until after this started popping off. And I was like, I went back. I think the Tim Pool episode where she was on was one of the first times I've ever seen her talk. And I was like, this is weird. Like, you're not answering any questions. You're being so vague. You're just skirting over it. I just can't talk about that. I can't talk about that. Why are you here?
And that is why you don't, I mean, other than one or two of these like professional victims with equally vague stories, that is why though, you don't see any average people who actually are survivors of any sort of abuse or assault or trafficking. You don't see one of them defending her, because every single one can watch her and know none of it rings true.
Yeah. And even when she talks about everything she went through, you can tell, like in a lot of these interviews, even like those vague statements and stuff, it's just very like, it seems rehearsed in a way. And it's like, to a point, I get it. It's like you tell the same story so many times, then you have kind of what you're going to say in mind, and you know kind of along the lines you're going to go, and that kind of thing. So I give some people the benefit of the doubt in that aspect, but man, she just had no like emotional connection. It seemed like.
No, and then she's sitting there, dab dab. Oh. No tears.
The fake crying with no tears. Yeah, it's like every body language analyst ever. Like, actually, I should go and find some of the body language people I used to watch and see if they did anything with her. I don't know if they did. There's one. His name's Logan. I watch him all the time.
But again, to go back to what we were saying before, it comes back to what's wrong with all of us. Like, there is responsibility to be taken by all of us. I mean, I would say you, but like people who accepted it, who all it took for the entire right to embrace this woman and to get on board with believe all women was some skanky chick shedding a few tears. Like, I honestly think the right is so desperate for validation that we'll end up inadvertently co-signing the things that we say we're against. Because this really was, from the beginning, a believe all women situation. There was never a story. There were never specifics. And we should all know what that means, because it's exactly what the left does. That whenever there are these claims or stories and they're very vague, we should know immediately what that means.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting, too, because it's like, you know, and like I said, I didn't even know she fucking existed until like, I don't know, a month or two ago, maybe. And when I watch back these interviews and I look at the comments that were left at the time that it took place, I get so confused. Because I'm like, all these people are like, oh, yes, thank you so much. You're so amazing. The work you do. And I'm like, but what is she doing besides going on like I'm not out here saying I'm advocating and I'm doing this and I'm doing all this special work. And it's like, no, I'm just coming on here and saying what I think about shit. Like that's it's so weird to me.
First of all, I think these people who call themselves activists, I feel like that should be a word that's bestowed on you. People saying that about yourself, it's like telling somebody that you're famous. If you have to tell someone, you know, or telling someone that you're funny, if you can say it.
Which that was like a thing. I don't know if you watched Chrissy's podcast last night, but they brought up like Simcast or whatever. But
no, I was out with all her friends last night.
Oh, and they brought up.
She wanted to introduce me to my man.
Oh yeah, that's so cool. She's super nice. I was so shocked. I was like even like invited on there. I was like, oh my god. I've been like,
no way, you're awesome.
Like, no, I didn't. When I go in areas online, okay, and I'll comment, and then I get a bunch of people like, oh my god, I'm like, whoa, like you know who I am. Like it's just a very strange feeling because I watch it happen with like big people, and I'm like, I'm like some mom in the Midwest. What are you talking about?
No. Let me tell you something. You're very humble, and that's great. But do me a favor, turn around right now and look at that. And now say, I earned that shit.
Man, I just made a video and I was like, I don't feel like I earned it. But
you earned it. Yeah, you earned it quickly. And I need to learn from you.
Oh, those YouTube shorts, man, they do really well. But
I'm too I've got too much of a big mouth for them because they're so short. I'm like, whenever I try to listening for it, I'll have to put it on like 1.5 speed. And even then it's too long. I just talk too much.
Yeah, no, I gotta like, I don't know. I guess it's an art form, but now it's kind of bad because now I have a hard time with long form content sometimes. Like when I'm filming my own videos and stuff, sometimes I have a bad habit of like pausing awkwardly because I'm used to like only having a very certain amount of time and you have to just be on point and like you have to know how to kind of pause it, and it gives yourself more time actually when you split it up into little chunks instead of like talking for a minute. But
oh, hey dude, Giorgio Quattrocento is here. That's a pretty background. Is that muscle under? Oh, yes, I knew that. I'm very big brained, and I knew that. Kieran, I hate that word. What was it? Active. I agree. Ugh. Gross.
Yeah, the activist thing is weird. Some people are always asking me, like, were you like an activist? Did you like go to protests? I'm like, no, dude. I'm a lazy person. I didn't go to protest. I live in freaking nowhere. Like, I'm not. Plus, I'm always like, when I was, it was really funny. When I was like super lefty, I had like a super not important job, but like a job that required a lot from me, I guess I would say. So I was like, no, I was like working all the time, bro. Like that annoys me too. Sometimes though, people would be like, oh, it's because you got a job and you grew up. But I think it's because people think I'm way younger than what I am. So I'm always like, bro, I was working, paying taxes. Like I bought a house. Like, what are you talking about?
Oh, hey, by the way, sorry, I just saw this. Brittany Rich. Yay, finally made it to a live. Welcome to the crazy train, my love. Here in Mikey and Kieran, Baywatch. I'm trying to get him to come to Florida. I think I'm succeeding. So Kieran's kind of trapped he's in the UK, who still has their travel mandates. So
oh no.
Hopefully they will end soon. I hate that we even have to say that, oh, hopefully they'll let their citizens travel without injecting themselves with poison. And we have to be like, oh, please, please. It's ridiculous that this is the world we're living in.
I just can't believe that they're still doing that. Like there's it is really go for it.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to go.
Oh no, you're fine. There's also a lag, so.
By the way, send us all your super chats, fam. Proceeds go to the Mike Making Better Videos Foundation. Lauren, where do you sit now in terms of your political affiliation? That's a good question.
I mean, like I said, I probably like just a mix, like just kind of a conglomeration. I have conservative ideals and values, and I would say I'm probably just more like a libertarian with conservative ideals and values, but that's a really long statement, and libertarians are too freaking all over the place as well. So I can't be like, I'm a libertarian, because like that doesn't mean anything at this point.
I was gonna say, you mean like small L libertarian, right? Not like the Libertarian Party.
Yeah. Well, it's like they're all over the place. And I feel like there's like a lot of conservatives who are actually more like constitutionalists. So they're kind of more relaxed, and they're not like, I don't know, they're not like the super virtuous, like you have to live that, you know, I don't like that either. It's like, no, I don't think you have to live in the same way that I live. I think promoting certain things is better for society in the long run, you know, like family, but
yeah. Love that. I'm a libertarian at heart, but vote conservative. I guess kind of me too. I'm not a conservative, but I definitely vote Republican, because I'm kind of like, I like reality. I'm a realist. I'm like, there are two parties. There's not going to be some third party winning anytime soon. So we work with the best we've got. So let's, you know, I don't understand also these people who join like the Libertarian Party, for example, or any other one. I'm like, if you're looking for a crazy shit party to join, may I offer the Republican Party? Like, we've got our own shitty party.
Well, people are funny too.
Yeah, I that's maybe, and this maybe is where I'm not really a conservative. I think right-leaning populism is more where it's at. That for me, I'm not really one of these people who's like, government shouldn't do anything. I feel that we need to kind of use big government against itself to restore some semblance of a balance of power. Like, for example, what DeSantis did with Disney. I love that. So that's kind of where I'm at with the party. Brittany, bitch. Now much would I hope the move goes smoothly. Glad you're getting out of there. Oh, thank you so much. That's so nice of you. Me too. It is a bitch move. Whew. I had no idea. I thought I'd be able to do it all. I thought I'd be there by now with my toesies in the sand. Like, I didn't know how involved it is to leave where you've lived your whole life.
It's a lot.
Aw, Leah. I always put my affiliation in a very Mike Harlow way. Aw. I'm a registered Republican, but I identify as an independent. Respect my pronouns. Love you, Leah. So how do you feel in terms of voting? Are you like solid Republican or open to whatever?
If there is an actual moderate Democrat that I could get behind, I would consider them. But one of my big hangups is man, everything at this point with the left is crap. But you know, like a lot of my opinions on like abortion are really strong now. Like, I'm just very anti-abortion. And it seems like there's not going to be any person who kind of like even tries to dial it back on that front. I feel like if they're not over there preaching like, oh, on demand at any time, like people just don't seem to like, that's a huge rally point for so many people. Cause like women are just freaking brainwashed at this point. But, it's frustrating. It's like there's a lot of pro-choice people who are reasonable, who I can respect, and I can respect their position. I just cannot respect like the complete denial of human life. Like it's crazy. So there's some like key factors that I would have to really consider, I guess, if I ever like found a Democrat I could vote for. But at this point, man, it's like, nah, I'm just gonna, you know, kind of rally around who I think is the best Republican.
Yeah, I see. Even if there were, which the only one of the last couple of years I could even think of is maybe Tulsi Gabbard. But I could, if she were a Democrat, I could never vote for her, because even if she won, that would be putting that entire party in power. And we see what's happening with that.
True.
Like, she might be better, but that doesn't mean the rest of them are. Ooh, got to get to all these chats. Crash Mondo, love you, dude. I'm the local chairman for my Libertarian Party. I feel personally attacked. Still love you, Mikey. We all have flaws. It's okay. We all have flaws. Well, what we could say, Crash, we're both of our parties suck. But that's awesome. You're trying to make yours suck less. I'm hopefully in my little way trying to make mine suck less to no avail. Cindy said, right and left populists will need to unite. I agree. I wish that could happen, but I don't think it ever will because the left ones are just completely brainwashed. Look at Bernie Sanders, that he was supposed to be, which he's full of shit. Maybe 20 years ago when he was actually like, when he would speak against illegal immigration and say sort of accurate things. No more. I mean, there's no difference between him and the rest of the party. So I think the left populists have no problem with marching in lockstep with every corporation, every government entity. They're full of shit.
Yeah, I can't even really name, the only left-wing populist I ever hear of is like Shoe on Head. Like that's like the only
I feel like she's more censored too. Like I don't
know. She just calls herself a populist, but she like believes in socialism, man. And I'm just like, I like you, but drop the socialism stuff. Like she won't. But she's got a really weird, like a bunch of people watch her, and I think half of them just hate her, so they don't like but it's just interesting kind of where certain people end up going in the like political commentary spheres.
Voice of the People, thank you so much for the super chat. The new right is everyone against the cult. Yes, thank you. That's what I've been saying. Thank you. This is why so many are fighting. The right is no longer conservative by definition. It's time to start listening instead of attacking. We have more in common than.
Yep. Yeah.
You
always would
just pluck that out of my brain. I could not have said it better. That is so exactly right. And this is why we are so far behind, because the left embraces the word coalition. The right is always like, the right is the only group always trying to make themselves smaller and smaller and smaller. And it's like, we don't all have to be conservatives. I don't consider myself a conservative, but I am a Republican. And there's room for all of us. There's room for traditional conservatives. There's room for the new right types there. So who was it that said it needs to be all of us? Oh, he said it. Sorry. It needs to be all of us against the cult.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's turned into. And like he said, that is why it's a bunch of conflicts going on right now, because there's a bunch of very different types of people that are all on the same side trying to kind of do the same thing, but in very different ways.
That annoys me so much when people try to pull this like, oh, these people can't be Republicans and these people can't be Republicans. A lot of people say gay people shouldn't be Republicans. I'm like, well, or somebody had said to me once, oh, why does it matter if they are? We don't need them. Why? And I did the math of how many millions of votes just the gay people who voted Republican last election amounted to, which was something like 10 times the number that it takes to sway an election. I'm like, we need as many people as we can get. We need to have different, and that's why with all these, anyone who's bitching about all these different types of like the Daily Wire, the Crowd, or the Tim, I want them all to exist. We all have different strengths. I want all of them to succeed.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, I of course want more kind of, dissident types to succeed also, but there is room for all of us. I just really want our people to get their shit together. Come on. These bastards segregated you. They muzzled your children for 2 years. Like what is it going to take?
A lot. It's interesting is like I've entertained a couple people over in my TikTok comments recently and kind of went back and forth because like now all of a sudden I'm getting like just hit real hard with people like, you don't believe in civil rights. And I'm like, do you understand? Like they'll be like, you don't fight for people's rights and you don't do this and you don't do that. The right wing just hates everybody's individual rights. And I'm like, you don't understand that you're in a collectivist group. Like that's why so many of the insults, like, it's like you'll bring up a point and so many of the insults right back is just attacking like the group you belong to instead of actually you, because they are collectivists. So they don't even see you as an individual. They see you as a representation of the whole. And it's such a crazy, I'm like, bro,
They called for your unaliving for not taking a jab that is proving the 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, God, look at. I've always said I think you have to look to other Western countries to see the next step. It's like the blue states are one step ahead of the red states, and other Western countries, Europe, Canada, is one step ahead of the blue states. So look what's happening in Canada, where they're now promoting suicide to people who are depressed or have some sort of minor thing. It's sick. It is so sick.
Where there's that trans woman who's who applied for MAID, and that breaks my heart. Like, I just feel like they failed her.
I know, and but yeah, that's something that should be given to kids. It's like you've grown adults wanting to unalive themselves for that. So yeah, let's give it to 12-year-olds.
The thing with kids makes me really actually angry. Like that's the one issue where I'm like, I get real fired up real fast because it's like, just leave them alone. Just let like do you remember what it was like to be like 14 years old, especially if you came from like a shitty upbringing? Like, get out of here.
It's so sick. No, but I feel like they specifically target kids who come from shitty upbringings.
Yeah, they're more vulnerable and it's easier to manipulate them.
And that's what I'm saying about the left. Like, none of them are gonna have a problem with that. None of them. I mean, I'm sure we've talked to these people. Like, they will tell you to your face that there's absolutely nothing wrong with giving 12-year-olds elective double mastectomies.
Yeah.
This guy that I debated a while ago, I brought up the point of Jazz Jennings and all the complications that Jazz Jennings had with the surgery of like it went wrong in there because she, I guess, was on hormones from such a young age that was underdeveloped and they couldn't material. No, and they had to like take out intestines, and they had all this horrible shit. And so this guy with a straight face says to me, "Oh, well, that was a good result then." That was a good result. That's the good result. Like, where do you go? What do you do with that? What do you do with that? Where do you go from there?
Have you ever sat and like actually watched one of those surgeries?
I've seen the animation. Have you seen those animations where it's like a space shuttle launch and they turn it into the?
I watched an actual video. There's actual videos of the real surgery on YouTube, and I watched one. Yeah, because I wanted to know what was happening. I was like, I need to know what's going on. And the whole time I was just like, this feels like human experimentation. Like, this feels like a guinea pig, lab rat, and it was so alarming. It was really bad. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend you do it because I watched the Peen Island version. It is so bad.
See, I used to feel like, and I guess I still do, that, adults do what you want. But like, the more I learn about those surgeries, I'm like, how could any adult want to do this to themselves?
Well, what's interesting is like the more, the surgery thing is being promoted more and more, right? But for a long time, it's been the majority of trans people won't get bottom surgery because there are so many risks involved. Yeah. And they're perfectly happy. Just like, nope, I don't want anything to go wrong. Because if it does, I've ruined the rest of my life, basically. And it's like, but you're encouraging kids to go under the knife. And I'm not saying like, the bottom surgery thing, it's not very common, but it has happened. There have been like a handful of cases that it's just like, what are you fucking doing?
I still don't understand. I mean, the double mastectomies on kids as young as 12 is becoming much more common. Mm-hmm. I will never understand how you can remove body parts that aren't even developed yet from a child.
It made me mad. I was having like an argument with somebody, and they said, I brought up, double mastectomies for like 13-year-old girls. And they said, oh, well, that's not permanent. I said, what are you talking about? They go, yeah, because they can just get breast implants if they regret it. And I'm like,
I've heard someone say that too. That's what I mean. That's like what the guy said to me. You sick fucks. But it's like, do you hear yourselves?
It's like that's not a replacement for what you lost. You just like, oh, well, you just get implants. It's like, yeah, but they didn't have to even go through that.
Which have enough complications of their own, by the way. Adrienne Curry talks a lot about that. You guys should go check her out. I'm trying to get her on my show because I love her so much. But she's talked a lot about that she was in the modeling industry and all the stuff that she got and was pushed on her, and she regrets it, and she's like kind of an advocate against all of that now.
Yeah, I remember actually, I like watched her on like America's Next Top Model or whatever that she was on.
Me too.
I loved that show. That was like the best show. I love when like Tyra Banks would like freak out.
Oh my god! It was so good. I loved her so much. Oh my god, it was so good. I was obsessed with that show. You know which one I'm obsessed with, by the way, from Top Model? The one who I was pissed at the time. She should have won, and stupid ass Tyra didn't pick her as America's Next Top Model, so she fell into a life of crime and is in prison. Do you remember Renee from Cycle 8?
I feel like I do.
She was she had this like David Bowie kind of look. She was like 20 and they gave her a short haircut and then told her she looked old and got rid of her.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You know what sucks? I don't know if I should mention that. Well, whatever. I was planning this, that I wanted to make a documentary about her. I wanted to like follow her and stuff because there's so many elements to her story of like these producers of this show took this person who was like 19 or something, had the hardest life imaginable. Every horrible thing you can imagine happened to her. Put her on this show to manipulate her and stuff. And then there's nothing. And then, you're on your own after. And it just destroyed her life. What sucks, though, is that she's back in prison now and has no intention of, changing or anything.
That's so crazy.
It's
That's
sad.
So crazy. Stuff like that happens.
I love that show so much, but it was like, that show was fucking dystopian.
Yeah, it really was. I was like obsessed with all those like really, really, really crappy. Like I loved the Flavor of Love, like stuff like that. Like I love trash TV. So that's why I watch all the TV shows now.
I've actually been thinking of doing like a sort of YouTube series on this. I don't know if anyone would be interested except me though. It was the top, by the way, it was so I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there's this girl, Jessica something, who makes videos about Top Model that she'll do a random episode each time and just shits on it and talk. They're really funny.
Is she the photographer?
Yes, I love her. So cool. So I've been thinking about doing that with Celebrity Apprentice because that show is just a work of art. It belongs in a museum. It is so good.
That would be fun. I think you should. It's very clear we watched similar things. So it's like, I love stuff like that. Like, I don't know why. It's kind of like my comfort when I want to get away from like all the bullshit going on in the world and politics. I'm like, let me just go watch like trash TV or like the YouTube T channels to see what's going on in the drama communities and like.
They've all gotten woke though. Like I used to love Survivor and Big Brother, but I can't watch it anymore. It's so woke.
Really? That sucks. I feel
they
like
literally
it's all
just vote
like
people based on their race on both of those shows now.
Ugh.
They'll have like the race.
I don't know if you watch like Think Before You Sleep, but like he did a reaction to some show. I was in
Florida with him.
Oh, really? That's super cool.
He was at Chrissy's house.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I discovered his channel not too long ago, and
Speaking of people who are good at YouTube, you and him are like my inspiration. He's really good at YouTube also.
He is like next freaking level, dude. Like I envy his like script writing and stuff. All my stuff is like on the fly and sometimes but anyway, he did like a reaction to a video where they were like literally like it was like $1,000 up for grabs, but they had to vote who gets it. And they just eliminated all the white people super fast. They eliminated all the men, like it was like white men, and then the white women, and then it was down to like all the just like different minority groups, and then they were just going like, and it's just it was all so much entitlement just seeping through their veins, and I'm like, bro, I can't handle this. Like, How are you real people?
Jesus, thank God. I think the one little subculture that isn't too badly touched by woke shit is the horror world. Thank God. Like, you know, there's certain little woke horror movies occasionally, but by and large, thank God it hasn't infiltrated too much. Thank God. Keep your woke shit out of horror. Have you heard of this movie, Antebellum?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I watched that in a hotel when we were traveling for walk away with Brandon and Shamika. We watched it at a hotel. And this movie is like, there's this beautiful, successful Black woman. And then basically, you know, I guess spoiler to anyone watching, but like the point of the whole movie in the end is that like, no matter what you do, no matter who you are, no matter where you go, you will always be a slave. On a plantation. I'm not saying that metaphorically, like an actual slave. Yeah. That was the point of the movie.
Oh, jeez.
And she's a victim. And
man, that's just crazy.
It's so horrible. Yeah. It's funny because I think with this, I haven't watched it, but everyone was talking about this Velma show. I think that maybe was a little bit of a tipping point for the normie people who talk about film and stuff, kind of having to acknowledge it. But so many of them are like, oh, why is this woke? Like, they're always talking about different movies and stuff. Why is people saying it's woke? Oh, because there's women or there's Black people. So I've actually been working for a couple of weeks. I'm doing like a whole analysis of woke movie. I'm going to do a big thing. What makes a movie woke?
That'll be cool. I think that's a good idea because I think at this point, you know, there's a lot of people who just kind of throw it around. It's like, oh, it's got this one thing in it, so it makes it super woke. But like, no, bro, like there are these movies that are coming out that are completely and totally centered around these major themes of like, what was that one really gay one? You gotta know it.
Wait, a movie?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna do that right in my next video.
Yeah, that freaking movie, which I haven't watched it because I was like, no thanks.
However bad you think it is, multiply that by 10, then think about it more, multiply that by 100, then think really hard about how bad that would be, and multiply that by 1,000,000. And that's maybe scratching the surface of how bad it is. I was bored when I was sick, so I edited like a compilation of every single time in that movie that they say the word gay or LGBTQ or queer. The video was 2 minutes long.
Are you serious?
It's a 3-letter word. Jesus. 2 minutes long. It would not fit on Instagram as a reel. I had to cut half of it out.
I saw somebody post like a similar thing on Instagram, and it's just gay, and I'm like, oh god, like it's like, bro, I want to be able to like just make a real movie, and just the character happens to be gay. It doesn't have to be this bright shining rainbow of, you know, like I just get it's so played out to me. It's like, you know, and it's really interesting too, because it's like, if you actually want people to just look at being gay as just this normal thing, which it freaking is, like, don't do that. Like, don't like exploit it so much. Just have a
they
normal
don't want
person.
that. They don't want that. That's what I can't believe I'm about to call myself normal, because I'm anything but in relation to sexual orientation, normal people just want it to be like, you know, a simple fact like the color of your eyes. These people, that is the last thing they want. And it's like, you cannot say that you're normal because you're gay and you're special because you're gay. You don't get to be both. It's one or the other.
Yeah. Well, it's honestly, it's really sad to me that so many people are basically basing their entire identity around their sexuality. It's like, that's a tiny portion, and it should be just a small portion of who you are. It's like, it shouldn't be this like, I'm gay, so I have to look this way, I have to act this way, I have to speak this way. It's like, no, bro, just be yourself. Like, it's
insufferable. That's why I could never stand those people, even when I was a liberal.
There was some people, okay, I knew a couple of guys back in the day, and it's like, I really liked them. They were super sweet, but man, I could not stand them for more than like 10 minutes. I'm like, I'm sorry. I just can't be around you.
Aw, Nightwave Reading. Aw, thank you so much, dude. Love you, Mike. I love you too. And you were right about everything with the great trafficking survivor. He was bringing this up before anybody.
Oh, really?
And people reacted so negatively to him for it, and he was right. Oh, thank you.
It's crazy too, because like, you know, what's funny is people tried to, you know, there's that big thread, right? That I think Brittany Venti had originally shared the thread, and she had been like, hey, can you clarify some things in here? And then when Eliza either didn't respond or blocked her or something else happened, then she posted the screenshot of the video and was like, can you please tell me what's going on here? And I'm pretty sure that's how it went down. And it's like, so people were already trying to kind of like bring this to the surface, but nobody was catching on. And it just took that one, and then like watching the reaction from there, it just like just a snowball effect.
Yeah, a lot of people got flued, but yeah, he knew what was up with it. Hey, Chris, glad to have you here. It hurts when the alphabet soup activists tell gay guys like me I'm not gay enough to be in the. They mean that you do not conform enough. They mean you're not obedient enough. That's what they really mean, not gay enough. I hate that shit. It's like, it's funny because in a way, I mean, this is obviously a much worse version of it, but in a way, it goes back to what you're saying about the word grifter, is that there's something that creeps me out with people, whether it's an inflection, a gesture, a word, a thought, people using it because they heard other people do it, whether it's them using that word, whether it's gay people snapping their fingers or doing something. It's knowing that you're doing this because you're mimicking other people. There's something I just find very creepy about that.
Yeah, there's a point, like, you know, when you're around somebody a whole lot, and you know, mannerisms can rub off on you. Also, I think it's actually a pretty natural part of people learning how to assimilate to other like groups and communities and stuff like that. Is like you kind of just pick up on these little small things. But at a certain point, it's like sometimes like you'll do it for like a week or something, and you'll get away from those people and you stop doing it. But I do think that there's a lot of people who they are just seeing this happen online, and so they're like living loud, you know, in their like the teachers who go in with like the glasses and the hair and the outfits and the like, and I'm just like, how is this allowed? Because you're like a walking advertisement for a gay parade, and like, why is that important?
They're using the kids as like therapist replacements. They're using the classroom as group therapy. It's sick.
It's like the friends they never had in high school.
Yeah. No, I think though with a lot of these people, like, God, this guy I dated once, we'd be alone hanging out and he'd be totally normal. And then the moment we're in a group of people, his voice goes up an octave. He's snapping his fingers, loosening his wrist. I'm like, who are you? So I think with a lot of them, it's just really fake.
Yeah.
What I was going to say also is I think we're talking about like woke movies. I think what's even more interesting than what makes movies woke is what makes movies not woke, especially when there's characters that are women or black or anything like that. So I think that's the thing I'm going to do a video on. But yeah, like, you know, something like Kill Bill or Death Proof or The Birdcage is like the best gay one. It's like, so these woke movies are basically replacing story with ideology.
Well, and that's also why they're failing at the box office, is because that they're just so surface level. There's no character development. There's no good plot. There's none of the things that actually make a movie compelling and good and make you want to watch it. It's just a bunch of people feel obligated by social pressure to go watch these shit movies just because they put, you know, it's like,
and they don't. They tell people they went and saw it, but they don't actually. That's what I think. And then these people, when they fail, they blame, it's because, nobody would see a gay movie. It's like The Birdcage made like $400 million. That's I don't know if you've seen it. That is just the best movie ever.
I don't think I've seen it.
It's so good. It is so good. And the point that people always miss about this movie. So it's basically like Robin Williams and Nathan Lane are this gay couple. Nathan Lane is a drag queen, and their kid is getting married to this girl who her father is a very conservative Republican senator. And so they bring the families together for dinner, and you have to pretend that they're a straight couple. So Nathan Lane dresses in drag, But I think people never talk about this. But the most beautiful part of this movie is that when they're together, and it's very funny and very ridiculous. However, you come to learn that while he's in drag talking to this conservative senator, his family values are ironically very conservative. He's all about his family, his husband, and so they bond over their shared conservative values. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And of course, it's ridiculous and hilarious too, because he looks like Little Miss Muffet. But oh, you guys have to see. Oh,
Yeah,
Lauren,
I'm gonna have to watch
I love
that.
The Birdcage. Been forever. Oh my God, I could watch that movie like every day. But yeah, it was, obviously a very gay movie back in the 90s and made a fortune. So it's just that nobody wants to hear these. First of all, I mean, these people have more money than God, like Billy Eichner, and then they complain and complain and complain like they're victims and preach about the most uninteresting qualities about themselves, and nobody cares. Nobody wants to see it. There's just such I don't know, like a whiny, nasty, shrill quality to them,
Yeah,
Like they're
well, it's
always
also
pissy.
it's so funny to me. It's like you guys lack all accountability, because the minute that their stuff flops, then they just turn on the audience and go, "It's because of you that it didn't do well, not because I did an absolutely horrible job making this movie."
That's so horrible. Ooh, Leah said The Birdcage is free on YouTube. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good.
Okay.
Uh,
Cool.
Cody, you see woke people with all their labels and they think their labels mean something. It's a way to show off your personality. They don't have personality outside of that, and that's how they write. That is so damn true. I'm sick of it. I'm so sick of it. And I think it's unfortunate that's what's getting made. So it's like any movies that have gay characters now, they're going to have to be like that. They're going to have to be preaching.
It's so frustrating to me. It's like, because I feel like we're losing art, and we're losing actual culture, and we're replacing we're replacing like beautiful like architecture and intricate details and like buildings and like I don't know. I watched like some videos of like the modernization of just like even like a trash can. It's like they used to have these really like cool looking like trash can like receptacles basically, and it was really ornate and beautiful to look at least. Like even it's a freaking trash can, but it's still cool. And then it just like zooms to like now, and it's just all these like crappy like modernized metal bullshit everything. It's like I don't want that. I want actual like pretty things to look at, man.
That's what's happened here. Is everything is just being completely homogenized. It all looks the same, and it's depressing.
Yeah,
like what they've done around Columbus Circle is everything is just metal and silver. It all looks the same. There's so few places in the city anymore that have that sort of old school architecture. You could probably count on your hands the number of them. Ooh,
that's
what
just
is
so sad.
Mikey, did you say that Glad Yup tried to stop you from making your script because of the way you wrote your gay characters? Oh, yes. So here's the thing. Who was it? I forget who it was, but somebody, I think it was Katie Herzog, maybe. Somebody wrote a Twitter thread about this maybe like a month ago or something. And I was like, thank you. Finally, somebody's talking about this, because I feel like people don't quite know that any TV show where there is even one gay character, Glad is literally in the writer's room with them, has a representative that needs to be there to tell them how this person can be, what they can say, what they can think, who they are. And that is why we have the same ridiculous minstrel show gay characters that we had 30, 40 years ago. That's because we see exactly what they want us to see. So yeah, this was sort of right before my red pilling. I'd written a series that was sort of an honest depiction of being gay and single, and sort of like the opposite basically of what a bros type thing would be. It wasn't political. It wasn't, there wasn't a word of politics in it, but it doesn't matter to them. So yeah, me and my people that I was working with, we were in the middle of pitching it to different places, and then Glad sent a letter out to everyone we were working with. They sent one to me. I gotta find it and post it sometime. I did.
Yeah.
But they were like, they literally said, we will fight you every step of the way in making this. They told me I hate myself. They said, what was it? They were like, resources exist for self-hating people. Creating content is not one of them.
Damn. You know what's
And
crazy?
the thing is, it's like, how can you say when it's like the heart of the show is about gay people? It's like, so how can you say they hate them? And there were also negative depictions, but there are also positive ones. So I'm going to at some point. Yes, Leah, cigarettes and Valentine's. I'm 100%. You know, it's been a tough last year or two, but I'm 100% still going to make it independently. I have to sort of update it to now, but I'm 100% going to make it independently as soon as I move and get the chance. But yeah, I'm not going to let those fuckers stop me.
Yeah, because like it's just so crazy. It's like you're not gay the right way. Like, get out of here. Like, you know what I want? I want like a movie with like a super masculine dude, and then you find out like halfway through he's gay.
Yeah. Or anything different than what they show it, you know?
Yeah, it's just really
it was sort of calling out all the reality of all their hypocrisy and all everything in a funny way, and they can't have that.
It just seems like they want caricatures of what real people are actually like, and then like people who are growing up and that's all they're seeing is these caricature stereotypical versions of what it is to be gay. Like they're just now adopting those. I honestly, like, part of me is like, are they doing this to like drum up like homophobia and actual hatred for anyone who attaches themselves in any way to the you know, LGBTQ fucking yeah. Because I feel like that's what is happening. Because it's like
well, and I think it's that, and it's also to make gay people very compliant. And it's sort of like I said with the guy I dated, where he, you know, why did he do that? Why did he go into a group of people and raise his voice an octave and snap his fingers and talk about their clothes and their shoes? Why? Because that's very crowd pleasing, because it's very non-threatening.
Yeah. And I think honestly too, I've heard this stereotype of like that some women kind of like, it's like they treat like gay men like a pet almost, like it's like a handbag.
The person Lauren was talking about before is the epitome.
And I just like, I don't know, like I had gay friends and I almost feel like I got too woke to a point where I was like, oh, you're gay, like, yeah, that's great, like it's like, and it was just like so gross. Now when I look back, it's like, bro, like you didn't, because I was trying to be nice and I had this idea of like, I have to show that I'm accepting and I have to show that I'm, you know, this and that. And it's like, no, you could just treat him like a normal fucking human being, you crazy person. Like,
Lauren asked, why are the gays not more offended by the characterizations Hollywood makes of them? This is what's interesting, is that I'm sure everyone here has heard these woke gay celebrities going, oh, I know, you know, the black one, all the different groups say this. It's like such a cliche at this point. Oh, I never saw people like me on TV as a kid. Really? Because for me, the problem was I did. And I remember very distinctly when I was like young teenager or maybe even younger, seeing these heinous gay characters of the Queer Eye and the Will and Grace and all that. I very much remember seeing that and thinking, holy shit, I would never in a gazillion years want to be like this. Is that what being gay is? That's a really bad thing then. So if anything, I think they're giving a lot of people a really negative connotation. And that was literally the one reason that I didn't want to come out when I was that age, is that I was like, I don't want people to see me like that. I don't want, literally, my biggest fear was that I would be viewed first as gay and nothing else. That I would walk into a room and they'd be like, the gay guy. And now the woke are trying to bring us right back to that. When we finally got past it.
Yeah, it really is. And it's like, and I watched Will and Grace when I was growing up, and I loved that show. Like, I remember, I just thought it was really funny. You know, it's like, I'm not thinking anything about it. But yeah, it was over the top. And I think like for the time, it was trying to like kind of just bring to light like this other, I don't know. And obviously I'm not a gay man, so I have no fucking clue, but like, I don't know. No, I feel like at the time it made sense, but no, and I get it. And I totally understand you kind of having that view of it. It was just like, Jesus, like, I'm just a normal person. Like, I don't need to be this like hyper inflated version of this. And I've always wondered that too. It's like, why do you like, Like, and I felt almost bad. It's like, well, why are you talking like this? Why aren't you just talking in a normal cadence, in a normal way? And like, why does it have to be this, you know?
It's frustrating too. Like, it took me years to be okay with this. That it's so frustrating too how many people will always try to push you into that role, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it make you believe that you're fucking Carson Kressley or you're some, you know? So at a certain point, you're like, okay, whatever, you know, you just have to know who you are. But yeah, I think there's a reason that that archetype is very crowd pleasing, especially to liberals, because that's how they like all their minorities, under their thumb, as pets, as accessories, as their little subordinate sidekick. Oh, we love the gays, we love the blacks, just from a distance. You know, it's like
the pores.
Yeah, it's like the illegal aliens at Martha's Vineyard. Oh, we support you, not here.
Oh, dude, that like, I was cracking up because they were like, there's like these videos of serious videos, like, we help support them and clothe them and feed them. It's like, bro, they were there for like less than 2 days. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they gave them a pat on the ass and sent them on their way.
You declared an emergency over this. It's like, it's a couple people, like, open up your guest house and you could probably fit half of them in it. Like,
no, they're such hypocrites though. That's always how they are. That's always how everything is with them. Lauren said, I will not lie, flipping love the OG career. You guys can like it. I'm just saying, you know, I'm not telling anyone be offended or anything. I'm just saying, for me personally, I hate those people so much. Actually, I will say also, like, oh, it is the most beautiful thing in the world that I don't know how the hell this happened, but I'd always hoped that maybe, and I never thought I would, I didn't think it was possible, maybe someday I could meet a guy who is not tainted by that and is not a part of the gay world, and it somehow happened. And to any homos watching this, like, find yourself a man who is not part of that shit. You will be shocked how different it is. Like, that community, that culture, is poison.
I have a question. Like, this is a sincere question too. Like, you know, I would imagine that there's a lot of gay men who like more masculine men. And I feel like at this point, like, there's like this push to like feminize men in such a way. It's like, is that like impacting like how like you or other people with like that, you know, view relationships, or feel like you're like hopeless? Like,
it does feel hopeless. I mean, I would ask the same to any woman that's single. I would think it's maybe even worse with straight guys. I would think it'd be much worse, because at least gay guys have kind of always been, you know, it's not a new like issue. I will say though, I mean, you know, my man is a bouncer, so I'm dating like the fucking Marlboro man. But yeah, I don't know. One thing that kind of bothers me a little bit is that I think a lot of people tend to have a very surface level, very superficial idea of masculinity. That's what would always drive me crazy, is that, you know, when, like I said, when people try to push me into, will pretend that I'm like some Carson Kressley, like I am that archetype, when I pretend that I'm somebody that I know I'm not, just because, you know, I'm clearly not exactly G.I. Joe or anything. However, to me, what's more meaningful than how somebody looks or their physicality is how, I think, I don't know, I believe in a more deeper masculinity in terms of their integrity, inner strength, loyalty, things like that, you know?
Okay,
and I think those are the things that are being lost more than ever, because how many of these liberal straight guys have a backbone? So like with me, for example, it's like, you know, I might weigh 7 pounds. I might like to look sparkly, but I will fucking match any bitch any day of the week when it comes to inner strength.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, I don't know. I don't like when I talk to you, when I interact with you, like, I don't know, you're just always like such a warm personality too. Cause so it's like, I don't know how anybody could hate you, really. I mean, I do, cause like you go hard on your on your like woke skits and stuff, but no, but like when I actually talk to you, I just like, I'm like, oh, he's just so nice, like it's just such a nice, like, you know. But I don't know. I've kind of, yeah, like I just look like you're like a dude who like is a big personality. You know what I mean? Like I know a ton of guys like that, and I knew a lot of guys in high school who ended up coming out as gay later, who are very similar to you. It's probably why I love you so much, because I'm like, oh, you're like my comfort spirit animal, like because you reminds me of my old friends and stuff who would probably absolutely hate me now.
They can hate us both, bitches.
But yeah, no, I just always have that like that mindset of like, I bet there's like a lot of gay dudes who really want like more like, I don't know, like man's men almost type of dudes who just happen to be gay, like, and there's none. They don't exist.
No. See, that's the thing with like with my guy. Like, sorry, not to like go all on.
You can gush. It's okay.
It's Valentine's Day. Tomorrow is gonna be my first time ever not single on Valentine's Day.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So with him, like, yeah, he's very outwardly masculine, but like I don't care about that as much. That like I know if anybody disrespected me, he would fuck them up, and I know people. If anyone tried any shit to him, I'd be in jail. So that's that type of masculinity is my jam, the inner one, you know.
I gotcha. Yeah, I gotcha.
By the way, let me parentheses super chat, Marco. Oh my. Thank you. You have no idea how happy I am about this. Okay, I want to show my appreciation for that amazing Eliza Blue skit. Aw, thank you so much. D-Day Cobra sent me. They got to get you on Friday Night Tights one day. DeSantis 2024. Hell yeah. Oh my God. This is just like the best super chat ever because everything in it is just so amazing. I can't. Okay, so I've been like the biggest Geeks and Gamers fan for years. Before Friday Night Tights existed, like from day one. And like it's kind of my dream to go on Friday Night Tights one day. That's what that's like a big goal that I'm like, I'm just gonna keep putting out content and they're gonna have me on one day. So last night I was out in a bar for the Super Bowl with my man and some friends, and my friend Maddie starts messaging me. He's like, oh my God, go on YouTube. D-Day Cobra is talking about you. So he played my whole Eliza Blue video and reacted to it and really liked it. So there are very few people that I will geek out about, but I'm gonna geek out about him because that was amazing. And hell yeah, DeSantis 2024. Thank you.
That's really cool. I just discovered that guy the other day, actually, because of all the Eliza stuff and the Tim Pool and all that kind of drama. I was like, who is this guy? Like, there's a lot of people that have been off my radar for a while. I'm like, oh, this is like nice and like a whole new like sphere of YouTube that I found.
Yeah, I like them a lot because like I think the last, the post 2020 era here got so depressing, being segregated here, not wanting to take the thing, that I got very burnt out with politics. That's probably one of the reasons I wasn't making much stuff for a long time. Like, so I love with Geeks and Gamers and Friday Night Tights, I feel like there's some of the people that really just do stuff that's fun, So that's kind of a little bit what I'm trying to do too.
Yeah, I think it's very much needed, man. I get, like I said, I get tired of like, that's why I have to go watch like trash YouTube channels and be like, what's happening in the drama sphere that I haven't checked in on in a year? Like, because I just get too like, it's like I need a break for a while.
Marco said, nice, you deserve it. I don't agree with D-Day Cobra on his Tim Pool take, but I really like Geeks and Gamers too. What is it? So I was out last night, so I watched that one section on the train, but I haven't seen, so I don't think I think I know what his Tim Pool take is, but tell me.
He just like went hard at Tim Pool, I think.
That's what I was thinking.
The few videos that I saw, he was just like very, very harsh criticism, which like, that I think a lot of people were just honestly looking for a reason to just write Tim Pool off for good.
Yeah.
Because that's just always the vibe I get. Like, and I get kind of sick of that. I always feel the need to kind of stick up for him a little bit. I'm like, wait a minute, no. Like,
yeah. I'm telling you, I don't mean D-Day Cobra. I mean, in general, I'm telling you, these people are like 90s punk rock fans. They're like, you sold out. They don't like anything that's popular or anything that gets too big.
At a certain point, you have to acknowledge that this guy has I think both of his channels have over 1 million subs on him. So he's got like a base of over 2 million people who come at him all of the time. And then like, that's just the people who are subscribed. There's more people who watch who don't subscribe, you know? So it's like, you got to start thinking about like the scale of this. And then when people start coming at you and harassing you and like sending like, it's just nonstop. It's like, that would eventually just break me. Like, I feel like it's hard for like me wrapping my head around what I have going on.
It's funny, by the way. I don't know if I should tell this. Just a couple people told me not to make that Eliza Blue video because of Tim Pool. They were like, "Don't make it. You're going to be like blacklisted." Or whatever. And I thought, I had to think about it. I was like, well, first of all, I truly don't think before this. I'm like, I truly don't think he would ever have me on. Like, I'm too inappropriate. I'm too unfiltered.
Maybe.
So I had
Milo Yiannopoulos on, man.
That's true, I guess. But I don't know. I don't like the idea of censoring my work or anything. So I was like,
I thought it was funny. And you like, I mean, you weren't like directly like the butt of the joke was Eliza Blue. I thought I actually, when you came up with like the tip, I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. Like, yeah, like because I thought I liked that.
Mark, it's just busting Tim's balls and making us think about it. But that's Jeremy. We know how you be. Yeah, I think he has like accurate point, or in general, people with him have accurate points. But like I said, I don't know. I feel like people just kind of expect a little too much from talk show hosts. You know, like they're talk show hosts. Like, what do you expect? They're not gonna like. I don't know. I just don't know what exactly people expect from them. Now, I think at this point, I think there are very valid criticisms of him when it comes to censorship. That's the real issue. And now, for me, what I think is even beyond that is the insane article that he allowed to be published. Like, that blows my mind. But
that's a bigger concern to me, like the actual journalism part. But I think, like, you know, when it comes down to it, it's like what you said earlier about how he was kind of like he is willing to stand in the face of a bunch of people screaming at him to do this, do this, do this. And he goes, no. And I think that's actually shows a lot of integrity. Now, it was just because of the situation that it was just probably a bad call. He just wasn't looking into it. He was being stubborn. He has a freaking ego, you know. But I don't like the idea of like, I think there's a lot of really big people who pander and who just say the right things at the right time. And they might behind closed doors. Like, how many times has like people like, people said, oh, well, so-and-so. Yeah. Or I have all these people who message me and who tell me that they agree with me on this, or they can't see their mind on this. Cause it's like, and what's his face? What is his name? He's like a PragerU personality. His name begins with an X. I could not.
Not Will Wood.
No. Is Xavier DeRusso?
Oh, I know who you mean.
His name. It's a very long name, and I've never heard it pronounced out loud.
I know who you mean now.
Yeah, but like he posted like a video kind of talking about like the Satan stuff and how he was like, can you guys just stop with conservatives? Just stop freaking out over this because you're being ridiculous. And he kind of expanded on that in like his tweets and stuff. It's like you wouldn't know how many people behind closed doors say one thing and then publicly say another. It's like, because you grow so big and you don't want your own fans turning on you. And I think that's actually, you've built a really shitty fan base if that happens. Yeah.
Somebody who's a pretty well-known person said to me when I kind of started doing this, I think it was some of the best advice I've ever gotten. She said, you always have to be ready to tell half of your audience to go fuck themselves. And I think that's true. Not in a way that's ungrateful, but like what I was saying about people trying to tell you what you have to think. Like when people were outraged that I don't want Trump to run again, like you have to be like, okay, well, that's my view. I'm not going to, I will always tell you the truth as I see it. I'm not going to, tell people what they want to hear. By the way, parentheses, my girl is here. Hey, Thin White Axe. Sorry I'm late. Was watching Star Wars. Leah already said this, but which Star Wars? Very important question. Okay, you're good. You're good. A New Hope. See, I shouldn't have doubted you, as if you would be watching, like, what was the last one? The Rise of Skywalker. New Hope. We're working our way through the whole saga, the Lucas saga, of course. Yup. Are you into Star Wars at all? No. You're smart. No. You're smart. It is truly unfathomable how the Disney sequels could possibly be not just so bad, but so spectacularly ill-conceived. It's unbelievable. I can't wait until Sunday. I can't wait until Sunday when the tell-all book is written about what really happened behind the scenes with them.
Oh yeah. I always bring up, like, whenever somebody's like, tell me what the most popular thing that you hate. I always say either ranch dressing or Star Wars, because those two things trigger people. And now I can't even use like Star Wars anymore because so many Star Wars fans are like, yeah, the new one sucks. And I'm like, no, all of them. And they're like, you know, but it's always been a really funny thing.
Yeah, I thought the prequels were bad at the time, like in the sense that they're not really enjoyable. However, the new ones made the prequels good by comparison, because like they're not really enjoyable. They're not like fun to watch. However, you got to, I mean, not you because you don't give a shit, but like in general, people got to give credit where it's due. It is fucking genius that somebody could come up with all this shit, all the most intricate things. The new ones, like, there's not a single thing in it that's even the least bit creative. But yeah, you made a good job. I feel like that about I never watched Game of Thrones, and for years people were like, how could you not watch Game of Thrones? And then I feel like I was vindicated and proven right all along that they ended up hating it.
Yeah, I didn't watch Game of Thrones. I almost did. I got really I gotta watch what I say on this one. There is some, I'm not even gonna say it now because I feel like people are gonna figure it out, and I don't. Well, because it's it relates to one of my kids' names, but I don't make them public. It's a
that's so very. That's what I'm doing with my boyfriend.
Yeah, but yeah. So anyway, I'll tell you later. But but it's just one of those things.
No, that's very, very smart.
Yeah, I just don't like. Sometimes I'll have like a picture on Instagram of their like the backs of their heads or something. It's like a cute picture, but yeah, I don't post their faces and I don't say their names, and I even like hesitant for a while to like say what age they were, but then it's just too easy for me to like say it, you know. It's like, so it's just one of those things. But I think that's just really important. I get really upset at how many mothers willingly like exploit their children online for like views. And
I feel like that doesn't get talked about enough, because this is even completely outside of the trans shit or any of that. Like, it's insane the things that come up on Instagram of these people putting their kids out there. Even like it got I don't know why this shit gets recommended, but like Kim Kardashian on TikTok with her little kid. Her kid has like their own account, and like, like, is this really a good thing? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely horrible too, and just the fact that like there are so many kids accounts that are only children and they have millions of followers, and it's not all like moms who just want to see cute kids. Most of it are men commenting, following, like there's like big networks, like people are starting to expose it a lot. There's a lot of people online who have been trying to do that for a really long time. And it's just really troublesome. It's like, because they can just like that get so many followers and stuff. But there's people who like take their kids out of school and homeschool them for content, like to specifically have them in their home all of the time so they can make content and they're not just gone 8 hours a day. So they'll pull them out and have them do
that. Is a monster.
That is like hire tutors and stuff. Yeah, it's absolutely horrible. There was like a big YouTube channel a couple of years ago that like got in like legal trouble for what they were, because they were like pranking their kids, but they were like being really abusive actually about it. It was
that.
Yeah.
Did you see the one? I mentioned this in the first video I ever made on here. Did you see the one? It might be that one, but the father would abuse his kids for prank videos on YouTube. And it's horrible. I shouldn't be laughing about it. It's horrible, but it's just, it's like you don't know what to do because it's so unbelievable. But so he was like pranking the kid and be in such an abusive way. And so the kid is there sobbing and hyperventilating, and the father is berating him like, do the outro. and the kid is there reciting the script that the father made him memorize. So the kid with tears coming down his face is like, if you like our content, please subscribe, like, share. I'm like, how are people
It's so crazy. It's so crazy, man. It's really crazy, like what kind of was allowed to fly in the early days of YouTube compared to now. Because like a lot of those types of channels got big, like, over the Wild West time and stuff like that. Like even like the late, like, I don't know, 2010s wasn't nearly as crazy in censorship as it is now. So, but I don't know. Now we're like just talking about like YouTube culture, but
I'm shocked that you're still on TikTok, that they haven't banned you.
Oh, so fun thing has happened with that is they have, I'm pretty sure an employee turned off my ability to post. And I say that because I cannot post any videos, but I was able to go live there the other night, and I haven't gone live in like forever. Like it's not, I'm like, I don't know. I always feel like I have to have like a show or something if I'm by myself, and I don't know how to do that. And I'm just really awkward. So
Same.
So I was like, let me test this, right? Because I tried to upload a video, and it was after I had uploaded a video like about my YouTube plaque, about Jordan Peterson retweeting me because I was fangirling really hard about that. It was a really big deal. And
that was amazing. I was so proud of you.
I like
There's such a good tweet too.
Dude, you should just like, I was like going through my quote tweet. I was like, oh, a lot of people have quote tweeted this. So I click and I'm just like, and I like stopped and went, huh. Like, no, that's not him, And I'm like, I go to it and I'm like, and I like freaked out. I like ran down and I was like, to my husband, I was like, babe. And he was like, what's wrong? Like he thought something was like wrong. Like one of the kids got hurt or something. I was freaking out. But fangirl moment. Anyway, so I posted about those videos, and then like I posted something about like transgender and kids and stuff like that. And that night they turned off my ability to post. And the next day I went to upload, and it just says too many community violations. See your notifications. No new notifications, no video violations, no account. Like I'm on an account warning, but I'm like always on an account warning. So it's like, and then I was able to go live. So like no explanation, but then I can do a live stream, but I can't just post a video. Okay. Yeah. Like you guys just literally, somebody went in there and just like clicked a button.
That's crazy. Yeah. TikTok is the one that, I mean, at this point, I'm like, I don't care that, but like, I kind of wanted to be on there. Because that's where all the libs are, but like, that's why I signed up for it to begin with. But like TikTok is the one platform that I cannot figure out their like they have no rules, at least like at this point, combined from all different platforms, I've had 20 permanent bans. So Jesus. By now I've kind of, I think, figured out how to not walk into certain landmines on Twitter or Instagram, so if you like star a word or something. TikTok, I have no idea. It was my parody videos that did it. Like they really do not like those.
Yeah, no, TikTok is just very much like luck of the draw of like, you have to like word things very specifically and put them in like as least threatening of a tone as you can possibly. Like it's crazy. Like, and that's why like a lot of my content, especially in the beginning, was just me like I was very like kind of meek and mild as well. And now I'm just like, no, like I'm just gonna say what I think. Like it's silly to do the like stepping around you type of thing, which like people still think I step around it, and I'm just like, I'm just trying to be nice, but it's just really crazy. Like I can't tell you how many videos I've had reported over there that almost all of them got put back up because there wasn't anything wrong with them. It's like people will just come and mass report all of your videos. If people see you, they'll remember your name. They'll remember who you are. They'll just like they'll send waves of people at you. It's just freaking crazy. It's like you guys are weird. Like let people just create their content.
By the way, Cody said it was cutting out. Is that just Cody? Or can you guys see us still? I don't know. Let us know. Put F in the chat if you can.
F's in the chat. I'm not watching the chat, so I never like pull up videos of myself when I'm on there.
Well, I should. My chat frozen or something?
Are we frozen?
I don't know. The chat is silent, and there are people there. Oh wait. Okay, that's weird. They got quiet for a moment, so I was like, "Oh my god, I think we got struck down." Okay, by the way, with YouTube, every time I think that like they've struck me down, I'm delusional. I'm not. I'm not that important. Like, I was like the other day, I was like, they're removing because my studio said one thing on views and the channel said they were lower. So I was like, YouTube, they are removing views from my video. I am being censored. I am being targeted. I will not be silenced. And then I was like, oh wait, that's just it has to.
That's just slow. It's just slow. It's just so slow to update. Like, it's funny because whenever like even like subscriber count and stuff like that, like it'll take a while to like update on the actual like public view of it compared to the back end.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, I'm not that important. Well, anyway, I don't want to keep you all night. So if anybody has any remaining final super chats for us, send them in. It is my goal to be a better grifter. I'm a very bad grifter. I need to up my grifting.
You need like a cowbell or something, man.
Like Chrissy.
The cowbell thing works.
No, though, when you were saying how you felt with Jordan Peterson tweeting you, that's how I felt last night with D-Day Cobra.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, I was in a bar with my man, and he was like cheering and shit. I was like, oh.
It's just fun. It's just one of those really fun things, especially if it's like somebody you watch a lot or somebody that, you know, you really enjoy, or like, you know, like with Jordan Peterson, he like really helped me like kind of get my mindset back right and straight. And he was a very inspirational person to me personally. But like Amala Epinobi, I think that's her last name, but she like featured one of my TikToks in one of her videos one time, like when I first like really early on in my TikTok career. And I was like super excited about that. Like that was really cool. Like she went through and like dissected the whole TikTok and all my points, and she's like a former leftist and stuff. So that was really, really cool. She runs a channel. Her channel is apologetic or non-apologetic or
I've seen that.
Yeah. And yeah, so her name's just really hard to pronounce, but it's Amala. And
yeah, I know her channel.
Yeah, she's super cool. She's like a PragerU personality or whatever. But yeah, she like dissected an entire made a whole video dissecting one of my TikToks, and I was like, whoa, like that's crazy. Like that's super cool. Like, yeah. And I just think that kind of stuff is just really neat to me. It's like, wow, like that's really cool that you think what I am doing has that much value or that much merit that you would want to feature it or showcase it. I think that's like one of the biggest compliments, you know?
Yeah. That it just blows my mind if that ever happens with me.
Yeah, it's you know, I don't know, like, which it's funny because it's like I found you organically so long ago, and I've been watching, and like I love this guy so much, but and I've always just been shocked at how you don't have like how your channel doesn't have more subscribers. I'm like, what is going on over here?
I think it's because I haven't done stuff regularly, and I was so miserable post 2020 and stuff that I kind of stopped for a long time or just make things sporadically. So I told myself, this is like my New Year's resolution. I told myself with my new video that I just put out, that is the beginning of weekly videos, also weekly live shows. I'm going to be very regular. And that sounds like I'm talking about like shitting and eating Activia yogurt. So I shouldn't say regular, but consistent is the word.
It's hard. It's hard to be consistent. Stuff happens.
Yeah,
and
it's my goal to.
Shit, so.
What sucks is that, you know, with the mandates here, I lost all my work. So I've had to just kind of like, for a while, I just live off the savings I had. And then it's like a lot of places still require it, even though it's not technically mandated anymore. Most of them, like, you can barely get a job as like a bartender here because they all ask for it. So just had to live off of like crap jobs. So it is my goal to go full-time making content this year.
That would be really cool. Like, cause I have, but a lot of people don't know this. I actually have I have a job, like I have a freelance job. So I'm a copywriter. So it's like, I do a whole lot of balancing all of the time. So it's like, YouTube is like my fun thing that I do that, you know, it's a perk if it makes any type of money at all. But yeah, like that kind of stuff is just really hard to get into and to know about it. Like, so I can only imagine trying to like navigate things in a super expensive place to live also.
And it's like trying to leave here, it's like they got to stick it to you one more time because it is like more expensive than anything to get out of here.
Really?
Just a damn U-Haul is like 6-7 grand.
Are you serious?
Yep.
That's insane.
I know. So I'm like, I'm thinking around everything that I possibly can, just like throwing out everything. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
That's so crazy. You should just put everything that you own in like build like a box of like, okay, I can take this much with me and just try to like Tetris things in it. Figure out what you can keep.
I'll figure it out though. I'm determined to be on the beach, and you have to come visit once I am. We'll have like beach party bonfire.
Hell yeah, I love Florida. It's like my favorite place. I used to have family down there, so I would go down there like, you know, fairly often. And then my husband and I went to the Keys for our honeymoon, which I hadn't been that far south ever, and so that was really, really fun.
Aw, how long have you guys been married?
We've only been married for, it'll be 4 years in August, but we've been together, it'll be 12 years.
Aw, I'm so happy for you. What do you guys do for Valentine's Day?
I think I accidentally ran across some flowers that he got me. But other than that, I didn't mean to. I just went in the wrong place and I looked in the wrong closet. But no, I think we're just chilling. Like, you know, we have the kids and stuff. Like, I don't really have anybody to like watch them or anything. That I feel like my best friend is really good about that kind of stuff, but I didn't like, you know, she's got her own Valentine's Day, so I don't like to do that. But we'll just hang out and I'll probably make a good dinner and all that fun stuff.
Aw. I just realized, I just remembered, I don't know yet. I still have to figure out what we're doing tomorrow. I've never had to think of such a thing before.
You didn't plan it like a week in advance, like all excited about it? I would have.
Well, I have different ideas that I can't settle on one. I don't know. I'll figure it out. He's working late at night too, so we're doing something like before then. So I don't know. I gotta think of something.
Do like a fun date or something. That would be cool. My husband and I used to like go all out on Valentine's Day and get like crazy gifts and stuff. And it's like, you do that for a few years and then you're just like, okay, like we just enjoy our time together.
God, what do I get? Okay, I got to figure this out like in the morning. Why am I saying this? Oh my God, hopefully you're not watching this.
Yeah, I kind of had the same thought. I was like, yeah, I hope he's not watching this, because he watched he never usually watches like my lives and stuff like that, but he watched the one that I was on Real Femme Sapien the other day, and he watched that one, and he like texted me, and I was like, you're watching. It like makes me nervous for some reason, because he doesn't have social media. Like, he doesn't have any type of social media. Like, he's not.
That's how you know that's a good marriage. You say mine isn't on Twitter.
Yeah, no, like he's not on anything. He watches YouTube. That's it. Like, and I actually, he asked me, he was like, is it okay if I like watch your videos and stuff? Like, I don't have to if you feel weird about it. I was like, well, I mean, like, you can watch, but because he knows it makes me nervous because he's not on social media. So it's like always been like my like area of like, I get to, you know, I don't know, do all the things, but
that's so damn sweet.
Yeah,
so what have you got coming up? What are you working on?
I'm working on a few deep dives, but I'm just nervous because I've never done a deep dive. So I just want to do them the right way, which is probably hindering me. I should probably just hurry up and just get it done. But I really want to focus on like kind of highlighting some figures throughout history that have been known in one light, but have a really, really dark past. Like Alfred Kinsey is a really big one. He's touted as like, the father of the sexual revolution, and he's absolutely the worst human being, one of the worst human beings.
I did not know that until like a year ago, maybe, or even less than that, probably. I had no idea the truth about him.
Yeah, I read a couple books, and I actually have like his books that I'm gonna go through and like actually, so I can like, you know, firsthand. And I've been skimming them, but it's like the book that I listened to on Audible, I had to like do it in parts because it was so much and it was really heavy and it was really hard. So like it was one of those things that's like, you got to kind of piece through it. But I kind of want to do a piece on him, and like John Money is a really big one, which that name is starting to come up a lot more and be more familiar with people. But I still think there's just such a lack of knowledge. Like that's who created the term gender identity, is John Money. And then there are a couple other major researchers in the game too that came a little bit later. But yeah, like a lot of those really early like sexologist people are absolutely horrible. I'm pretty sure the term cisgender also came from like an atrocious playground type of man, playground affinity. And that was like in like Germany way back in the day. I don't remember what year, but
Stacy, Alfred Kinsey, and John Money are both just critical. 100%. It's funny. I wonder if you feel this way too. Let me know. It's so funny how many things to this day. And I mean, I walked away from the left probably in like, if for real, started like 2016 and maybe officially like a year or two later. But to this day, I'm still learning things that I always thought were true that turned out not to be. Still, yeah,
same. So I feel like the more that I learn, the less I actually know. Like I just feel like because it just gets more. You're like, I have been lied to about everything. Like. Yep. And that's a really frustrating part. I get like, do you ever get like overwhelmed by that? Because I feel like I have this like need to know things, but I just get like, there's so much.
And it's inconvenient. I'm like, I don't want to know half the things I know. I have this my friend Dan, who I red pilled. He always says to me, he's like, why did you have to do this to me? I liked being ignorant.
Seriously.
Like, it's true.
Like, well, everything just gets really dark. I feel like the history of so many things that are touted as these good things, like Alfred Kinsey literally just got a statue erected of him outside the Kinsey Institute. It's still functioning. Wow. It's still going. It's still having a major impact and influence on our culture. Alfred Kinsey is the main reason why sex education got put in schools. Like that was really alarming for me to learn. And like, that makes me want, like now I'm kind of at the point of like, I don't think it should be in schools anymore. I just don't, because it comes from a really bad history, and you're not actually teaching kids anything about like their body and like biology and like, you know, preventing pregnancy and stuff you actually should probably be teaching them. So it's just like stuff like that I've kind of gotten a little bit like more extreme on. It's just because when I'm doing all this research and learning all this stuff.
Yeah, it's so sick. Scene invaders! Oh my god! I now learn about all current events from MIKERoaggress'd, and that's how I like. Oh my god, you guys are the best. So like, you guys all have to go subscribe to Screen Invaders, because Ashley, you have to watch. Okay, I don't know why I bother talking about current events. I just want to talk about the show Servant all the time. You guys have to watch the show Servant. I'm obsessed with it. I could go on forever. But I've been watching this channel, Scene Invaders, for like 3-4 years now. My mom is obsessed with it too. She like texts me every week. And by the way, like this week, she literally asked me like 5 times this week to send her your new video on it. And I was like, I'm waiting for them to put it out. But so anyway, I was on their channel like a week ago, and I'm gonna go again. And then because they do commentary and theories and stuff for Servant, and they do a bunch of other shows, and they are amazing. So subscribe to them. They do like that show, The White Lotus. I haven't watched it, but I'm gonna learn about what shows I need to watch from you guys.
That's super cool. Super fun.
But they are amazing. And speaking of which, subscribe to Ashley's channel. The stuff is below. The links. Follow her on the Twitter. You have the Instagram too, right? I've gotten bored with the Instagram.
The Instagram is a rough one for me. The Instagram does not. They do not like me over there.
No, they hate me too. Thank you, Mike, for promoting cool creators. She's the best. Ashley, wait, wrong way. I always get it the wrong way. High five. This way.
I'm so bad with the flip.
Wrong. I love you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys for being here. Follow all the stuff. Oh, I should mention also, I'm sick for like freaking weeks. I finally got the damn. I don't want to get struck down, but so that kind of threw me off track. But I'm getting back to doing all my stuff on Locals and Patreon. We do Zoom hangouts. We do movie nights where I bring guests. You should come on if there's any you feel like hanging out or watching. We will like show a movie and I'll rip it apart and stuff. So yeah, if you guys like my stuff, Subscribe to all my shit. I'm working to become a better grifter. I will up my grifting, I promise. And I'll have a new video out next week. And go watch my Liza Blue video. And follow her because she is amazing. And I learned so much from her. And I really need to learn how to be better at YouTube from her. Ashley, my love, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I had a really fun time. It was nice to just like talk about like fun stuff too.
Yes, you're the best. I'll talk to you soon, babe.
All right, bye.
Bye, guys.